This is the lesson where things start getting interesting as we're going to be connecting to our HTML elements using JavaScript. So first of all, let's set up a main container and we can call it play area. So this is going to be our main game object. And I'm going to include all of the elements within the play area so that we have it nice and neatly within one object. Also set up another object that we can use for the player, and this is going to contain all of the variables that we're going to make use of for the player itself. So the next thing that we want to do, I'll move the screen up a little bit. We're going to use our freshly created play area object, and we're going to add in the stats to it. And using our document query selector, you could also select elements by class. So there's a number of different ways to make the selection. My preferred way is to use query selector because it's you can select all of the different ones within that same format. And you just need to specify, just as you would with CSS, the element that you're selecting. And so now if I console log out my play area, you're going to see that I'm going to have that element within my object. And then that means that I can access it, I can update it, I can make use of it within my elements. So we can see there, if I wanted to, for instance, update it, I can do play area stats, and I can update the inner HTML to be hello. So make a nice big hello there. So refresh, and you can see that we've updated that element as hello. So that gives us the ability to work with all the different elements. So let's go ahead and add in some additional elements within our play area. So we know that we've got our different screens here. So we've got the main page. So selecting out document, and we can use query selector once again, selecting it by the class, and we gave it a class of main. And this is one of the reasons actually I like to, when I'm developing out games, to keep it all within one HTML file so that I can easily refer back to it if I want, or if you have tabs, you can switch them back and forth in tabs. And we are going to break this apart afterwards, but this is just, as we're building it out, it's a little bit easier that I can quickly see what I gave my class names to within the elements so that I can select them within the JavaScript. We also have play area, so we've got our main game area. So again, using document query selector, and these are going to be very straightforward to select as they're all class names that we're grabbing them by. So it makes it really easy to make these selections. And we also want to make a selection of our buttons as well, so we can do play area. And this one we're going to do a little bit differently. So you can do the buttons and you can get it within an object, a node list. So we're actually going to transform that node list into an array. So first of all, let's select it within our node list. So query selector. And in this case, because there's more than one button class, or there potentially could be more than one button class, we don't have more than one. But in case we do decide to add some more buttons, we can grab all of the classes that have a class name of button. And now if I do play area, I'm going to console log this out so we can take a closer look at it within the console area. So let's refresh. And you see that within here, within the buttons, I've got a node list. So I only have one item there within the node list. And in case we do want to add more. So there is a way to transform this into an array. And we can use the JavaScript array from. We could loop through the node list as well. So there's a few different options. I'm going to use a array from, and we're going to select that document element. So now I'll show you what the difference here is. So we're actually transforming this into an array format. So now when we go in here and we do buttons, we see that we've got an array. So before, notice that it said a node list. Now it says an array. So this is just a regular standard JavaScript array. And now we can make use of all of the elements. So there's one other one that we want to make a selection of, and that's the page. So we're going to do the same thing. I can copy this one out, and I can call this one page. And this will list out all of the pages that I have within my element, within my HTML. So refresh, and now we can see under page, we've got two different elements there, and we've got all of that information that's contained within those elements. So we've got quite a few things that are going on here. So what I want you to do now is try this out for yourself. Open up your editor, select the classes that we're going to be making use of in the upcoming lessons, and build it out in the same type of format that I have, where you've got a play area object, and then within that object, it's going to contain all of the elements that we need to use in the upcoming lessons. So go ahead and build that out, and I'll show you the next step where we're going to set up the player and prepare to create some interaction and functionality within the game.